Jesus was born in Bethlehem in emergency circumstances, interrupting a Roman-mandated journey. His story could have ended there. A predicted holy child without a broader audience was a child with an unfulfilled destiny. Jesus' birth was recognized by two unlikely, and to some at the time, two unholy groups of people. Shepherds from the hills, local people from the lowest rungs of society, dirty, smelling of sheep and dung, most likely pagan, uneducated, excluded, and isolated. These shepherds were called to witness to God in human form. In appearance, they looked basically like everyone else and would not have attracted much attention around the manger. What gifts did they bring? The gifts could only have been simple items, perhaps a piece of carved wood, a fleece, a gourd full of goat's milk. The shepherds, unprepared for the event, simply accepted the call to follow the star. They were the first messengers. They took this good news to their limited world, to people who lived close to the earth, people accustomed to sharing their experiences verbally in simple settings. Wise men from afar, travelers from as far away as Persia, men who studied the stars, made notes of comets and planetary movements, wise men whose knowledge was handed down from ancient Sumerians. Through their studies and observations, the wise men were in a state of readiness and willingness to accept a sign. In a spirit of scientific inquiry, they were ready to seek confirmation of the sign, and maybe to be willing to be proven right or wrong. Exotic strangers in a strange land, they were sure to enough in their position and quest to ask directions. They were sure enough in their signs to follow a star. They must have been accompanied by other people equally as foreign as themselves. People to handle the baggage, the animals, the tents, the food. They were called to an infant's side to worship and adore this God in human form. What gifts did they bring? Gifts commensurate with their wealth and position: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. They were sensitive enough not to overwhelm the Holy Family with their continued presence, and were open enough to accept a dream message directing them away from immediate danger on their journey home. The wise men were the second messengers. They took the good news to a larger world, to people of intellect, culture, and wealth. Whom do you identify with? As children, we may identify with the Holy Family, the mother holding the swaddled infant beneath the earthly father's sheltering arms. Or perhaps we do not. We may be children of broken families without steady or effective parents, adrift in a social services network, trapped in gangs, homeless, abused. As children, in any circumstance, what gifts do we bring? As teenagers, we may identify with a desire to be like the shepherds, omnipotent in our roles as caretakers of the helpless, relishing the freedom and independence of a life on the move. Or perhaps we do not. In our teenager quest to be different, like everyone else, we may push the boundaries of acceptable behavior, challenge authority, yearn for adulthood, and fall back into childhood. As teenagers, in any circumstance, what gifts do we bring? At any age, we may identify with a desire to be like the wise men, privileged and gifted with educational and financial opportunities, on the fast track to social significance. Or perhaps we do not. We may be limited by environment and upbringing to a social and economic existence that may seem insurmountable. At any age, in any circumstance, what gifts do we bring? We give God thanks for all of his gifts given to us. They may be small or large, poor or rich, tangible or intangible. They may impact one person, one family, one community, or the world. It is not up to us to decide if we are worthy to receive these gifts, for it is only in sharing of the gifts that we also share the full measure of God's love. For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son. We are the messengers who can share the good news of this greatest gift. We are the messengers who can reach out and draw people close to God. In this season of Epiphany, as we move towards the light of the resurrected Jesus, bring the world with you. Amen.